That is a perfect draw. Eye of Fates gives us another item card in play and lets Tamatoa quest for one. I've really been trying to get a Tamatoa deck that I enjoy playing and is semi-competitive, and I think I finally found it. This deck is what I call Tamatoa Control, running Ruby to pair with our Sapphire. Let's get into the deck tech, and then I'll have some gameplay at the end. This deck has two goals for the first 4 to 6 turns. The first is ramping as much into our Inkwell as we can with Gramma Tala Storyteller, who when banished goes into our Inkwell face down, and Mickey Mouse Detective, who puts the top card of our deck into our Inkwell when played. The second goal is to get out as many items as we can. For items, we are running 3 copies of Sword of Truth, which we can banish to banish a chosen villain, letting us banish a big card like Ursula Power Hungry or a pesky card like the Queen Wicked and Vain. We are running 4 copies of Magic Golden Flower, which we can banish to remove up to 3 damage from a character. This card is great with helping our top end cards stay in play. We are also running 4 copies of Shield of Virtue, which is one of the better item cards. This card lets us spend 3 ink and exert the card to ready a chosen character, but that character can't quest this turn. This is great for letting us quest with Tamatoa or challenge with Aladdin and then ready them so they can't be challenged next turn. We also run 3 copies of Poison Apple, which for 1 ink and banishing the card, lets us exert a chosen character, and if that character is a princess, we get to banish it as well. This card is great just with getting to exert a card so we can challenge it, but adding the princess bonus lets us deal with something like a Belle Strange but Special or an Ariel Spectacular Singer. The last item we run is 4 copies of Eye of the Fates, which we can exert to let one character quest for 1 more. This card is amazing with Tamatoa, basically letting Tamatoa quest for 2 more total. Which brings us to why these are our 2 goals, Tamatoa So Shiny, which is the core of this deck, and we run 4 of. Ramping early lets us get Tamatoa out earlier. He lets us return an item from our discard to our hand when he is banished and when he quests. This lets us recycle our items that banish to use their ability and put them back in our hand. Our second goal of getting as many items in play is the main ability with Tamatoa, Glam, which has him quest for +1 lore for each item in play. In mid to late games, it's not crazy for him to be questing for 4 or more lore while returning an item back to our hand each time. Couple this with his amazing 8 willpower, and he is a powerhouse when he gets going. Another reason we focus on ramp and items the first handful of turns is because of Be Prepared, which we run 4 copies of. This card is the clear-cut top removal card in the game right now, and why we don't have to worry about the opponent's board early on. We focus on getting items on board, and once we get to turn 6 or 7 and the opponent has multiple characters on board, we wipe the whole thing in preparation for our Tamatoa. Other board control we have is 2 copies of Let It Go, which lets us put a character into their Inkwell, and Hades' Infernal Schemer does the same when played. Maleficent Monstrous Dragon, which we have 4 copies, lets us banish a character when the card is played. We run 4 copies of this because while it's great removal, it is also inkable, which we find ourselves doing a lot when we have this card in hand early. We run 4 copies each of Aladdin Street Rat and Aladdin Heroic Outlaw. This card is great for lore control, with Street Rat removing a lore from opponents when played, and then Heroic Outlaw letting us gain 2 lore and remove 2 lore from opponents when he banishes another character in a challenge. Heroic Outlaw also has Shift 5, letting us get him on board early if the opponent is getting too much lore quickly. Develop Your Brain lets us get to our cards quicker by looking at the top 2 cards of our deck and putting one in our hand and the other on the bottom of our deck. This is also an inkable 1-cost card, which is why we run 4 of it. We run 2 different tech cards that can be swapped out depending on how you like them. First is 2 copies of Maui Hero to All. He is my favorite 5-drop in the game because he can challenge on the turn played and has a whopping 6 strength for 5 ink. The other tech card, which I've been trying out lately and really like, is 2 copies of Donald Duck strutting his stuff. His big draw is having Ward, which means he can't be chosen by opponents except in challenges. So no single target removal or damage can affect him. He also quests for 2 lore and is inkable. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into a game with this Tamatoa Control deck. Looks like we are going to go first. We have a few items. We have our Aladdin line. I think we are going to get rid of this Hades and Sword of Truth. And we got Gramma and Let It Go. Fully inkable hand. That is a good start. We got a little bit of ramp. We got some items. I'm going to go ahead and ink this second Shield of Virtue. And then go ahead and play the Golden Flower and pass it over to my opponent. They're going to ink a Captain Hook, so they're on a steel deck, so I'll need to be looking out for those damage dealers here. And play a Simba, so they get to draw a card. And then discard a card. And then we drew our Eye of the Fates. I'm going to go ahead and ink that. We don't really need it right now to get our Grandma Tala in play. And they're going to ink a Smash. And put out a Genie. So they are on an Emerald Steel deck here. And we do get our copy of Be Prepared. It's awesome. I think I'm going to ink this Shield of Virtue. I am down 2 of those now, though, but I'd like to get this Aladdin out to take away the lore they just got. And then go ahead and knock Grandma Tala out so we can add her to our inkwell. Looks like they're going to ink another Simba here. And play out a Tinkerbell. So I need to be thinking in my mind about them shifting into the big Tinkerbell here. Looks like we got a second Aladdin. I don't really need a second one right now. And this will let us shift into Aladdin. And then I can go ahead and take out this Genie to force a 4-point lore swing here. They're going to ink a Genie. And just pass the turn. Draw a Sword of Truth here. I think I'm going to go ahead and just get that in play, get our items. Then I could use the flower to remove Aladdin's damage, but I don't think I'm going to right now. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and pass and just sit on this Aladdin for a turn. And they ink one of their big Tinkerbells. Do they have another one? Looks like just grab your sword to put 2 more damage. That's alright. At least it didn't knock out Aladdin. I'm going to go ahead and ink this Develop Your Brain. Don't really need to see a card right now. Then go ahead and use our Golden Flower to take 3 damage off Aladdin. And then go ahead and play Let It Go to get rid of the Tinkerbell just so that they can't shift into their big Tinkerbell. And then I'm just going to go ahead and quest with Aladdin to start getting our lore up here. We're inking another Captain Hook. And they're just going to pass. I think I'm going to Develop Your Brain here because I'd like to see a payoff. Then there's one of our payoffs for after Be Prepared. Let's go ahead and take that Tamatoa. And then I'm just going to go ahead and quest again with Aladdin. Just keep putting the pressure on. They're still sitting at 0, so we're in a great spot right now. And they're going to play Mickey Mouse. I think that's the one that... Yeah, yep. Chosen character can't quest. So that would be bad for when we get our Tamatoa out. So we'll definitely have to be prepared first. I'm going to go ahead and ink the develop your brain here. And then quest with Aladdin. And then go ahead and pass for now. They're still sitting at 0 ink, so we're still good. I don't really feel pressured yet to do be prepared. And they have a Jasper. That's another one that when it quests, chosen character can't quest. So we are probably getting to be prepared territory here. And we do draw another inkable, which is awesome. I'm going to go ahead and ink this Maleficent dragon. And then go ahead and quest with Aladdin to take us up 10-0. And then go ahead and drop Be Prepared to wipe the board here. Alright, so they do have some card advantage on us, but we do have Tamatoa and we're up 10-0. So even though they have card advantage, I feel like we are still in a very good spot right now. We do get a Mickey to ramp, but I'm going to get the Tamatoa out first so we can add Golden Flower back to our hand. And then pass the turn to the opponent here. And they have another Jasper, so not great for Tamatoa here. We do get an Aladdin. I'm going to go ahead and Mickey to ramp our Inkwell some more. And then Golden Flower. And then Aladdin to take the lore that they just got again. And then we're going to quest with Tamatoa for 3. And they are going to quest with Jasper. Lock our Tamatoa out from questing next turn. And there's a grab your swords. They do get rid of our Aladdin. And there's the Jasper effect. Go ahead and get that played out here. And then I'm going to go ahead and quest with Mickey. And crap, I hit pass. I meant to attack with Tamatoa into Jasper. That was not smart. That just delayed us a whole other turn. And there is a big Tinkerbell to knock our Gramma Tala out, which again we get to ramp, but it also takes our Mickey out. We are still up 14-2. That Jasper should be gone, but that was my mistake. We still have a big lead here. And they're going to quest with their genie. We do get another item with Poison Apple. We're going to go ahead and get that into play. And then we're going to remove 3 damage from Tamatoa here. And then we're just going to go ahead and knock out this Jasper like we should have done last turn. And pass to our opponent. And they're going to go ahead and quest with Genie. And they're going to play a Lady Tremaine here so they can add an action card back through their hand. They're going to grab your sword. And past us. That is a perfect draw. Eye of Fates gives us another item card in play and lets Tamatoa quest for 1. So that is the perfect draw right now. That's going to put us 1 short up to 19. So I'm going to go ahead and quest, put us to 19 right within striking range. Get back the Golden Flower, which now we still have enough ink to put the Golden Flower into play. And then we can use it to take all the damage off Tamatoa. And then we can use Sword of Truth to banish Lady Tremaine because she is a villain. And now we're just 1 lore away. It doesn't really matter what they do with Tamatoa. Even in top deck mode, we are right on the doorstep of winning here. And yep, they're just going to go ahead and concede. It didn't really matter what happened. I hope this was a good example of how this deck can handle early, mid, and late games, especially with our control elements like Be Prepared. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and then subscribe for more Lorcana content. Thank you.